Hola, yo soy Trino Treviño y les doy la bienvenida al Club Tesoro. And I think we're good to go. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
All good over here. I mean, rainy weather over here in Mexico City, but everything's okay.
Oh, it's the same here in Melbourne too. It's 9 in the morning, and it's looks pretty grey.
Yeah, I mean,
The skies are grey.
exactly. I mean, right now the world is a bit crazy in terms of
Yeah.
climate, but I mean, everything's cool.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much for your time. I'm very happy and looking forward to speak with you today because, I mean, back in the day, I have a personal story regarding one of your DJ sets. The first time I went to EDC Vegas was
Okay.
2011, and you were playing on the main stage, and you were the first DJ I saw on performing live on stage. So I always have like a very good memory of you playing your
Uh,
music, etc. And of course, I mean, big fan of what you've been doing. And yeah, basically, I also want to introduce you to that 2% of people that probably are listening to this and have never seen you or listened to your tracks. So yeah, you've been 2 times nominee in the Grammys back in the days when you created a remix, no, with a Sweet
yes.
Disposition track, and then another one with Cascade. So
Yes. Yes.
pretty huge achievements in the electronic dance music movement for you. And also, I mean, you play pretty much in every big festival around the world of electronic music, and not specifically of electronic music as well. So, I mean, we could take the whole interview speaking about your achievements, but how are you? I mean, you're right now making a lot of music, touring back again. So, yeah, how you feel
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
about that?
it's been it's it's like you said, it's been a sort of a long journey. I've started making music, and I've been in the music industry for, I don't know, I think almost 20 years now. It's a long time. It's a long time to have any job, right? To keep
Sure.
any the same job. And it's been awesome. It's been like a transition every few years. It's a evolution in sound for me. And you mentioned 2011. Obviously, that's 11 years ago. For me, again, it's been another evolution in sound, and I feel like I've changed things I like, things I'm making, things I'm listening to, and that's been kind of my story. Just sort of like trying different things, being inspired by different things, and just still enjoying, trying to make sure that I enjoy my job. Because I think that's very, very important. Whatever job you do, you want to stay inspired. You know, you want to
Right.
stay inspired, whatever the job is. And in my case, it's music, and so for me to do this for almost 20 years, I have to make sure I'm always inspired, and that's why for me the sound is always changing a little bit.
For sure.
And it's been fun. It's been fun. Like I said, I'm enjoying it.
I saw that you put your biography in Twitch, and it says, I mean, if people know, I mean, they are now knowing that you are part of the music industry, but you title yourself, I mean, as a DJ, of course, as a producer, as a
Uh-huh.
composer, but you also say that you're a chocolate junkie and part of the Butter Gang. So
Yeah,
I must
100%,
ask,
100%.
like, what's your favorite chocolate and what is the Butter Gang?
Okay, so the butter gang. Okay, so the chocolate junkie. I think a lot of people like chocolate, um, and for me, it's hazelnut chocolate. That's my kryptonite. You
Mm.
know, that's my vice. I love hazelnut chocolate. Anything, even like hazelnut gelato, Nutella, obviously, Kinder Buenos, things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
those are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that I love, and the butter gang is kind of a sort of like an in-house joke that we all the fans and me created on Twitter just by while I was streaming. I would make stuff, and people would be like, "Oh wow, that's smooth as butter, butter." Like, the vocals are smooth as butter. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody started saying butter, 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 and then all of a sudden people were like, "Oh, it's the butter gang." and then people were making logos for that, and it was like a little in-house stream joke. It was funny.
Awesome. No, yeah.
Nice way to engage with the fans, you know. It was cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and also you mentioned that you were streaming. Of course, I mean, I mentioned about Twitch. So,
Yep.
I mean, right now we are back again on track. Pretty much every
Yes.
part of the world is now open again, and we are able to do touring and you to release music and to test it live, etc. So,
Yep.
what was your favorite part in? I mean, I don't know if you are currently streaming right now or not, but when you were streaming during the pandemic, what was like one of your favorite things that happened over there?
So I'm not streaming right now because like you said, we are back to sort of normal, and you know we're touring and all that. And actually tonight I'm flying off to the US for another tour. So I'm not streaming because of that, you know, because I feel like we needed to stream for the people that were also stuck at home, just like we as artists were stuck at home. So it was like a way to connect to people. And you know, I think one of my favorite ways to stream was, you know, when I would do like long DJ sets, you know, play for 4 or 5 hours, and you know, I would order some beers and some pizza, and you know, I'll be doing like long sets and drinking beer and interacting with the fans. And you know, that was a fun part, I think, because it was the only way to connect to the fans, you know.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, me myself also, I play a lot of video games, for example. I was not streaming too much, but
Yep.
I did find that I was able to connect with a lot of, for example, Mexican DJs and producers over here during pandemic. It was like one of the best moments. Like you could connect easily with everyone that was very creative and then wanted to do something. And I mean, yeah, for me also was like something very valuable and that I keep with myself in my memories right now. And yeah, happy that you yourself also found a way to connect and to interact with fans and to share moments, etc. And also, I mean, right now you are promoting one of your new tracks that's called Shelter. I think it does have some sort of a relationship with what we were talking. So how did you come up with this idea? And yeah, could you share with us more about this track in particular?
Yeah, for sure. So normally the way I work is you know, I would come up with like a musical sketch, a musical idea, and then, you know, for example, for this track, initially I wanted to make a club song, something that I can just play in the clubs with good energy. I wasn't really thinking about vocals. So I wanted to make something melodic. And once I finished the idea, I sent it to Yotto. And, you know, he's a good friend of mine. And, you know, we share music all the time. And I kind of, when I finished the track, I thought, I think he might actually like this. You know, I think this is something he would play.
Sure.
So I sent it to him. And I said, hey, you know, check it out. You know, let me know what you think, any feedback. And he listened to it. He loved it. And he said, can I have it for my label? Odd one out. And I was like, yeah, of course. You know, would be awesome. It would be an awesome collaboration. And then I thought, that's it. We're going to schedule it as a club song, instrumental. And I thought that was it. And then I think a couple of weeks or a few weeks later, I got this demo back with a vocal from Jem Cooke on top of my instrumental. And I thought, oh, wow, this is awesome. So I guess she got a bunch of instrumentals from the label, and she liked my instrumental, and she just wrote a vocal on top. She got inspired. She sent an idea back to us, and all of a sudden the instrumental became a vocal record. So it was nice how that worked out. Everybody, you know, the whole label loved it. Yotto loved it. I loved it. And that was it. That was how Shelter was sort of merged between an instrumental and, you know, Jem having a jam on the vocals.
For sure. No, I mean, her voice is awesome on the track. And I mean, the track itself sounds very progressive as well. It also has like darker sounds. The kick and the bass are very clubby. So I do think it's one of these great tracks right now for what's happening right now in the dance scene. And I mean, in terms of production, you've been very eclectic. I mean, I remember a lot. One of my favorite tracks as well, like I was telling you in the beginning of this interview, is that, for example, How Soon Is Now, no, which has like this whole story inside the track. And I think that right now it's not the same vibe, but in some way you've tested like everything in your story. I mean, well, I don't know if everything, but you cover like a lot of genres, a lot of texture, sounds, etc. So right now, how do you feel in your creative process and with the sound that you are sharing with the world at the moment?
It just feels right. You know, everything I do is kind of like in the moment. If I feel good about what I'm doing, then the song gets finished and it gets released to the world. And you know, I try to always be true to what I'm feeling. I don't try to follow trends and try to make what is cool and what's not cool. And you know, I just try to like make music that I'm inspired with. And right now this feels good. And to be honest, I've always tried to make melodic music in some way. And
Right.
I always loved vocals. I always, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm a sucker for vocals. So whenever I get a chance to release a record with vocals, I love it, you know. So you know, I've kind of stayed true to that sense, keeping things melodic and vocal as much as I can. And you know, obviously the sounds have changed. I think my sound has gone maybe a little more mellow, not so in your face, big room,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And but I'm really happy where stuff is, you know, where my sound is sitting right now. It's, you know, it feels good.
For sure. And I mean, we can listen to it and feel it. Also, I'm curious to know, what do you think of the current state of dance music around the world? Because I think we're living one of these moments in history where it's making a cycle once again and everything is changing and everyone is going from one genre to another. So yeah,
Yeah,
what do you think of what's happening around the world in terms of dance music?
I think it's great, man. You know, I think, you know, it's always growing, you know, it's always growing. There's always going to be new waves of young producers coming through. Um, everybody's trying different things. Of course, there's always the flavors of the month, and you know, it just means that kids are inspired by something that's popular right now, and then they try to make that. But in the process of that, they find other things. You know, they get inspired and they end up somewhere else eventually. You know, and I think it's good. It's the scene is growing as always. It's healthy. There's always new talent, and I think that's just the natural cycle of life.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, you were saying about, well, you were speaking about young DJs and producers. So I always speak with a lot of them, and I mean over here in Latin America, and well, of course, probably to some around the world. But yeah, I'm always curious to ask, what would you recommend for all of them that are, yeah, trying to hustle their way to the top and creating their sound, etc. So I mean, you yourself that have proven every year that you can create something super awesome and people listen to it all around the world. What could you share to them, some tips or advices?
Well, I'd say, like, you know, an important thing is to really try a lot of different things, until you figure out what you really love. You know, it's important to listen to a lot of music and to connect to something. You know, to connect to something. You need inspiration, of course. So that's why I think it's important to listen to a lot of music to get that inspiration. And then in that process, you find yourself. You find what you really, really love. Of course, you need to study a little bit about making music, how to use the software and all this, yeah, the plugins. But essentially, you really need to find yourself, what you really love, and then just make a lot, a lot of ideas. And some are going to be not so good. Maybe a lot are going to be not so good.
Right.
But in that process, by making a lot of ideas and trying and figuring out what you really, really love, you're going to find some special things. And there's no shortcut to that. You know, I have ton of ideas on my hard drive, and most of them are crap. But every now and then you find something that speaks to you, you know, and that's how I do things. But there's a lot of music listening. There's a lot of adventure. There's a lot of research. So yeah, I think that's important. But on top of all that, once you do that, you find yourself, and then you just stay true to that. Right. You stick to that. You kind of like, as you do that, you find yourself, then you end up believing in what you love, and you stick at it. That's sure. Those things. I think those things are important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man, on this. And well, saying that you have a lot of things in your hard drive, what are we expecting from you in this second half of the year? I mean, do you have more music coming? What can people expect from you?
Yeah, I'm working on a few things as always. I'm working on another vocal track. I can't say too much because nothing is signed and sealed and delivered yet, but it's a really beautiful piece that I'm working on. I think it's nice. It's a little more mellow than what I've done recently, but I think it's a beautiful song, and we're just waiting for all the documentation and approvals to be signed, and I think we'll be good to go. Not too far in the future, but yeah, I really like the next one that's coming after Shelter.
I mean, I trust you, man, and so I think that this is gonna be super huge, and I'm very excited to listen to it. Thank you very much, Dirty South, for having me, and that we could speak about this new music that you're about to release. Also, I want to know where's easily to contact you via Instagram, or where's the best way that people can reach to you?
Yeah, so I'd say the best way to reach me is on Instagram, and it's just simple. It's at Dirty South. Same thing for Twitter. It's at Dirty South. Those are probably like the easiest places to reach me. Probably I try not to be too crazy on social media, because I try to have a personal life as well, and family and all of that. But those two platforms are probably the easiest to reach out, and yeah.
And also, if people want to send you promos, demos, whatever, they can reach you.
Yeah, I check those messages too. So yeah, probably Instagram DMs are pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Dirty South, for having me once again, and looking forward to speak with you in person, hopefully soon, and to see you perform once again. I mean, I've seen you several times after the EDC set 11 years ago, so it hasn't passed that too much time, but for sure. Man.
Yeah, hopefully soon in person in Mexico. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, I mean, people here love your music, and you're always welcome to be here.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
All the best and take care.
Esto es un episodio más de El Club Tesoro. Mi nombre es Trino Treviño y les agradezco una vez más a todos ustedes que nos escuchan en todas partes del mundo. Recuerden compartir el podcast si es que les gustó, para que se puedan suscribir más de sus amigos y podamos comentar mucho más sobre estos temas. Yo estoy en las redes sociales como @TrinoDJ, así me encuentran como TrinoDJ en Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube y SoundCloud. Así como también pueden visitar mi sitio web, que es www.trinodj.com, donde cada semana estoy subiendo artículos relacionados al mundo de la música, así como entrevistas y también los programas de radio, donde cada semana estreno mucha música. Una vez más, les agradezco, espero puedan comentar este podcast con todos sus amigos y me dará mucho gusto saber de ustedes en las redes sociales. Nos escuchamos el siguiente episodio, hasta pronto.